Oh boy, what a hard day it's been, huh, you know?
Yeah, Cat, we certainly have been through a lot for the last couple of weeks around the old starship.
Boy, you aren't kidding. You know, remember when we first started the search for your lips? We had no idea of how many places we'd be seeing and how much trouble we'd get into and get out of.
Fun was a really big part of the Swingin' Richards experience. There were times when I saw those guys play a 45-minute set and only do 6 songs. But the audience had been laughing so hard, they didn't care they only got 6 songs. They were entertained.
There was one night that some guys were fighting and our bass player during break went to break it up, so they ended up both beating on him, and he ended up in the middle of Roswell Road, and we came back in, he's like, look what they did to my teeth. His 2 front teeth were knocked out, and of course, we're just partying hard and going, just put your bass on, it's time to play. And then there were times where, Gary Busey, when he was in Alabama, in Birmingham, shooting a movie, I think it was called The Bear, and he was playing Bear Bryant. Every day after they finished shooting, he would drive to Baker Street and come jam with us all night long doing his Buddy Holly stuff. And then it would be 4 a.m, he'd be like, I gotta get back to Alabama. And he'd drive back, shoot, come back and party with the Swingin' Richards. And they were nice, Robin Zander from Cheap Trick would show up and we'd play Satisfaction all night long and whatever, and try to do some Cheap Trick songs, but we just weren't good enough. I know what you're thinking,
Butcher back with you, and I do have my special guest today, my bud Rick Richards, and of course Rick Price from the Hellhounds. Now, you may have seen someone else from the Hellhounds. 2 nights ago, their drummer Morrow was on Video Active with who else but Megan Blake, just the other night. Speaking of Megan, you're probably wondering about this earring. Megan gave me this earring just a few minutes ago before we started the show. And I gotta tell you, whatever Megan Blake gives me, I put on my body. You know what I'm talking about? I can't help it. I can't help it. But right now, I want to get a little background on you guys. Rick, you've been in a few bands in town.
Countless bands.
I remember the Desperate Angels was one of my favorite bands. About, how long ago was that?
That was about 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Bruce, there's a character for you. Gosh, he was bigger than life too. He, every girl wanted to be with him, and every guy was jealous and hoped they could be him. He was a real hardworking go-getter. He just was so great at so many different things. And he was in Heathen Girls at one point. That's how I met him. But then you just watched him, be a part of so many things. Yeah, he was a character, all right. He was bigger than life.
He's done so many things. He's been in so many different types of bands. I mean, he's been in everything from the most straightforward rock and roll, Rolling Stones type stuff, to pop bands, to being one of the best guitarists for the Restraints, to being one of the first VJs on the Video Music Channel here, to having his own club, The Cavern. I mean, the guy's a prince. I mean, he's really royalty.
The studio called Web 4, which had a long history before we were there, I think. I mean, some really great artists had recorded there. But after we recorded our album there, we did a video for one of the songs, and Out of My Head. And we shot the video in the studio, which is a great video.
They're here.
They're here.
Tell me? What? They're here. Oh, no.
But the energy and the spirit that was embodied in that decade is what no one has recreated since. Like, I have not experienced that since.